Hola, wonderful wizards. Today I was reading a gorgeous story via Facebook, as you do, Facebooking. And I wanted to share it with you in case you hadn't caught it, because when you just find one of those stories that just totally reinstate your faith in humanity. It was one of those stories. So I just wanted to let you guys hear it, and it brought me to tears. I'm a real soppy twat. I'm one of those people that sort of cries at everything. So I was in the park with my daughter reading this, and I was really crying, but crying of joy. And I think these are the things we need to remember about humans. So I just wanted to read you. It's from a News Herald reporter, and it's about a family who was saved from drowning when people on the beach gathered together to form a human chain to save an entire family. So the story goes. I honestly thought I was going to lose my family that day, Roberta Ursray said. It was like, oh God, this is how I'm going. Panama City Beach, FLA, I suppose that means Florida, right? Sorry, I'm not from the States. Florida, I'm guessing. It was supposed to just be a quick trip to the beach, but the Saturday afternoon diversion to the water almost ended in unspeakable tragedy for Roberta Ursray and her family. Ursray and her husband, mother, nephews and son were enjoying the sun and yellow flag conditions near the M.B. Miller County Pier. Ursray herself had just left the water, but when she turned around to look for her sons, she noticed they were much farther from the shore than she remembered. Concerned, she started walking down the beach. It's like every mother's nightmare. And then she heard their screams. Yeah, every mother's nightmare. I mean, you would literally, I would jump in front of a moving bus or a shark, to save my daughter. Gosh, this is why the tears started, in my eyes. They were screaming and crying that they were stuck, Ursray recalled in an interview Monday. People were saying, don't go out there. It's your children, of course you're going to go out there, I'm sorry. Unwilling to watch them drown, Ursray and her family swam out to them. But the rip current was much stronger than they realised, and despite her best efforts to escape, they were trapped as well. All in all, Ursray said, 9 people were stuck in about 15 feet of water, including her mother, who suffered a massive heart attack during the ordeal and nearly died. As if things weren't bad enough for her. I honestly thought I was going to lose my entire family that day, Ursray said. It was like, oh God, this is how I'm going. It might have been had Jessica Simmons and her husband not decided on a last-minute beachside dinner that afternoon. This is where the little serendipities and synchronicities come into play, right? Those little miracles that guide things within the universe. Or if she hadn't just stopped to pick up leftover trash and happened to grab a discarded boogie board, intending to keep it for when her godchildren visited. But sitting on the sandbar after a quick dip in the water, Simmons realised everyone on the beach was facing a different direction and pointing. I automatically thought it was a shark, Simmons said. I ran back to shore and my husband ran over to them. That's when I knew someone was drowning. Simmons isn't the type of person to stand by and watch someone in distress. Back in Alabama, where she's from, Simmons said she once walked 11 miles after a tornado to help people clean up their mess and get their lives back together. So when she saw Ursray's family in trouble, she grabbed the boogie board and started towards them, while her husband and a few other men started a human chain to bring the swimmers back to shore. These people are not drowning today, Simmons remembers telling herself. It's just not happening. We're going to get them out. That's what I like to hear. As Simmons paddled, the human chain grew, with 80 people stretching over 100 yards out to the distressed swimmers. Some of them couldn't swim, Simmons said, but wanted to help and stayed in the shallows. Others stood in water up to their necks, waiting for Simmons and her husband to cover the last few feet as they could pass the swimmers to shore. I got to the end, and I know I'm a really good swimmer, Simmons said. I practically lived in a pool. I knew I could get out there and get to them. What Simmons found at the end of the human chain, she said, was shocking. Ursray's mother was exhausted, her eyes were rolling back, and Simmons remembered her drinking so much water and telling us just to let her go and save ourselves, I guess you say. Everyone was exhausted, the waves knocking them under one by one, starting with the children. Simmons and her husband, along with a few other rescuers, towed the swimmers to the human chain and then pulled them all to shore. It was the most remarkable thing to see, Simmons said. These people who don't even know each other, and they trust each other that much to get them to safety. Ursray doesn't remember being rescued, just waking up on shore after she passed out. Her mother, she said, ended up coding in the ambulance but was brought back to life and is still in the hospital. Her family has set up a GoFundMe page to help cover those expenses. Her nephew had a broken hand, but otherwise everyone is recuperating after their ordeal. And I just find that this story is just so symbolic of humanity. And I mean, yeah, when there was some real danger, all of the humans, they formed a cohesive group. They formed a human chain, hand in hand, out into the water to save the lives of others. I mean, it doesn't really get more beautiful and more symbolic than that, does it? So that story just really made my day. It really just made my heart glow. And yeah, always remember that is the truth of who you are, and that is who humanity really is deep down. All right, guys, I love you. One love.